Yo, what's up, guys? We got a brand new video, less than 24 hours old, from the United 24 channel. I'll link their channel in the description below, as always. It's called Safari in Toretsk. Inside. Oh, shit. Hold on. Oh! Sorry. God damn it. Okay. Let's try that again. Inside Ukraine's police units fighting for the Donetsk region. Jesus. Sorry about that. That was funny. Real quick, my name is Sax and I go by Vegas here in Ukraine. I joined the International Legion for the Defense of Ukraine in January of 2023. I'm still in Ukraine. I'm no longer with the Legion. I'm with a different team. In fact, if you want to be in the brigade, possibly, that I'm working with, called Hatia, I'm going to leave a link to Hatia in the channel, or in the description below. It is a infantry brigade in the Ukrainian Armed Forces of the Ukrainian National Guard, but still the Ukrainian Armed Forces. They've been operating on the front in all different parts of Ukraine since the beginning of the invasion and before. So if you're interested in that, check out the description below. I am recommending this over the International Legion right now. There's a lot going on in the Legion. I don't want to say anything disparaging about the Legion, but I'm just telling you, as somebody who was in the Legion, I would recommend going this other route, at least for the time being, until they get some things squared away with the Legion. With that said, let's jump into this Toretsk.
It's quite large and it's risky to move around this way.
Oh shit, sorry. I'm a mess right now. I'm a mess.
Він нас не бачить.
Аба. Нічого поки не знайшли.
Нормально.
Оптоволокні.
Tonight we have teamed up with the assault units of the Safari Regiment that belongs to the National Police of Ukraine brigade called Fury. These units have been fighting around Donetsk since the start of massive assaults on the city that happened in June 2024.
That's something that's different. Sorry, I keep yawning. I was up too early. That's something that's different in the Ukrainian Armed Forces than like in the U.S. military, is the National Guard and the like police brigades take a very active role in the conflict. Granted, if the United States was invaded, the National Guard in the U.S. would take a very active role as well. But typically what I think of when I think of National Guard is reserves, right? Only if there's something really extreme going on are they typically deployed or called, or they're doing their one-time rotation typically during their contract. But it's definitely different here in Ukraine. They are on the front, operating, and in a lot of regards, the National Guard guys are considered to be some of the more elite units.
And by now they have been holding the defense here for more than 100 days. As usual, we go in between night and morning. Our Kirpi MRAP with a powerful electronic warfare system.
The MRAP has a little bit of space in it in the back where they're sitting right now. But if you have claustrophobia, you should look at what the back or the inside of a BMP or a BTR looks like. A BMP, sorry. Look up what the back of that looks like and imagine 6 to 8 soldiers fully kitted in the back of one of those. Get that claustrophobia just rocking.
Drives along the road line with burned out pickups.
The armor of the Kirby is not very reassuring, as even a tank can be destroyed by drones nowadays. 30 minutes drive from the peaceful city, we arrive. With a group of scouts, we move into the city. It's hard to compare the number of drones overhead to anywhere else I've been. The worst part is not knowing who each one belongs to. Our group is quite large and it's risky to move around this way.
Батарея отъебнула. Вот сам снаряд лежит. Только я не можу понять, что это за снаряд.
We don't want to end up in videos of Russian drone strikes, so we run from house to house and hide under vines.
Hey man, if you do come out here to Ukraine, you see something like that, unless you're a sapper, stay away from it, man. My company commander, the big dog, when I was in the International Legion, the company commander was taking what he thought was a dud of a 40 mic grenade, one of those that you put in the grenade launcher, and thump. He was taking one to the trash can, and he was just walking it around his house. It exploded, shrapnel through the neck. He bled out in about 30-40 seconds. The company commander. If you see something like that, just stay away from it, man. Like I said, unless you're a sapper or you have some kind of training in, EOD or something like that, but just don't bother. That's terrifying.
These spots are usually good for a smoke break and to listen to the fighters' stories.
В начале був хаос.
In the beginning, it was chaos. They came in huge groups.
But
now the tactic has changed.
Вони переодіваються в гражданку.
They disguise themselves as civilians, carrying rifles and gear in bags, just blending in like locals.
Просто як місцеві. Заходять.
They can't see us. We had different tasks. We scouted through the gray zone, searching for positions, and encountered the enemy, but mostly reconnaissance. An FPV? Yes, let's get inside. What surprises me the most is that we'd be in direct combat with the enemy and civilians would still be walking around in their yards. I don't understand why people don't leave.
Dude, I've seen this. It's the craziest shit ever. You're like full blown getting shelled to shit, right? And you look over and Babushka's like hanging her bra on the drying line out in the backyard. It is the strangest thing I've ever seen. Ukrainians are so stubborn. They're like, nope, will not move. Will not move. It's amazing. I love it.
I'm a displaced person myself from the Luhansk region, from Severodonetsk. So I know what it's like.
Ви звідси місцевий, так?
Да.
Хочете вам вийти? Ні. Ви ждете, так?
Не, никого не жду, я свою жизнь живу.
Как жизнь сейчас? Как жизнь?
Так.
As of November the 2nd, 950 people remain in Donetsk. According to the fighters from the Safari Regiment, civilians are one of the factors that help Russians move into and through the city. A portion of the people who stayed are collaborating with Russian intelligence services.
The city of Donetsk is divided in half by now, and there are close combats in the city center at the moment. The soldiers describe the situation as consistently difficult, and it's probably the only accurate expression possible. Everything around us is flying and exploding, and it is also very risky to get into the city. And for example, this is the video the soldiers took yesterday.
Excuse me?
Nevertheless, we made our way.
Did that land on that guy's lap? No.
Nevertheless, we
Looks like just behind the tailgate of the truck. That's crazy.
made our way here. We will do our best to document the situation in Donetsk today.
Вже
It's been a long time since we've seen tank attacks, so I guess they're not actively using heavy equipment. They come in small groups, taking over house after house, and we either don't have enough people or... Oh, an aerial bomb. Another one might come soon.
Those are the big fuckers that'll shake your bones, man. It's a completely different feeling than getting shelled. Even from the largest shells, like the 120s, or I mean, it's much different. You realize there's not one single place in this village you could hide from that bomb.
There's a high chance that an enemy assault will happen soon. Maybe not right now, but in an hour or two. To check if the settings are accurate, we fired a test mortar watched it hit and made adjustments. Now we're preparing more mortars, so if the assault starts, we'll be ready.
Any of my mortarmen in subscribers in the comments, tell me what these donuts are that they put on the ass end of these mortars. I've always wondered. I don't know a whole lot about mortars.
It varies. Sometimes we work a lot. We can fire about 100 rounds. In a day.
Dude has no ear pro on. Are you kidding me? That can't be right. I was gonna say he must have plugs in, but it's hard to tell, but it doesn't even look like he's got plugs. Just straight savage mode. Also, look how young this kid is.
Until recently, the area around Toretsk and New York has been the last defensive positions that has been held since 2014-2015, and with the first massive assaults towards this direction, this line of defense has been lost. So now take a look at the map of Ukraine. You are able to see the territories occupied after 2014 and territories that are occupied since 2022. Looking at this, the scale of the disaster is a little more clear.
I mean, I want to look at that real quick.
The scale.
So the darker red, right, or whatever you would call this, the lighter red, the more vibrant red, is, he said, from 14-15, when basically the initial Russian invasion happened, that a lot of people don't even know about. It wasn't until this one in 2022 when people were like, oh shit, there's something going on here. But Ukraine's big, dude. This is all Ukraine right here, right? You've got Kharkiv in the east, Kyiv is central, and then you got Lviv in the west. You got Odessa down here. No, I'm sorry. Odessa's down here. Shit, fact check me on this. I don't know. It's by the water, okay? Anyways, my point is, arguably the second or the third largest superpower, at least militarily, in the world, invaded a no-name country, if you will, like Ukraine, right? And I say no-name because their military power on this list of global superpowers was extremely low. Okay, so number 2 or number 3 largest superpower in the world invades this country, who up until 2 years ago most people couldn't point at and tell you where it was on a map, and they have held them for 2.5 years to this. To me, that is incredible. To have such a superpower invade not a extremely well-known country with military much lower down on the list, economy much lower down on the list, and hold them here. That's just, I love that. So cool.
Of the disaster is a little more clear.
FPV. Мені 24 роки, а сам я...
I'm 24 years old, and I've been fighting since the beginning of 2023. Before that, I was with the police, but wanted to fight. They formed a police unit to join the battle, a new brigade. I immediately applied, got accepted and joined. I've now been fighting in the Donetsk region for a year. I'm originally from the Luhansk region. I used to live in Severodonetsk, which is now occupied. How could I just sit in the capital with my hands on my lap while my city is occupied? I had to go and liberate it.
There's a lot of people that do that though here. And I mentioned this in the last video. I used to make me upset when I would see military age males, you know, cruising around the city at the bars, chilling at the clubs while their fucking country burns, right? And their brothers and sisters are out there on the front line fighting. They used to piss me off. But the reality is, there's typically two different types. You've got the people who are scared to fight, and basically they bitch out, frankly, just being very transparent. Then you got the people who are not fighters. They were not born to be fighters. They know nothing about that lifestyle, and it's probably safer for themselves and everybody else that they would be surrounded with if they did not go to the front line. So in my experience, there's two different people. You can't, but regardless, you shouldn't judge people like that, like I was earlier on in the end of the war, because you don't know their story. You know, they could have a heart condition or fucking, I don't know. My thought is, if they had that serious of an illness, why are they at the bar on their 34th beer, you know? If they had this serious of an illness that they couldn't go fight for their country. See, I'm getting myself worked up again. Fucking everybody relax. Chill out.
In the Fury, or as we say, Loot Brigade, there are both police officers and ordinary civilians. What unites them is that they all joined this unit by choice. Every fighter in Fury is a volunteer. This is evident in their motivation and focus.
For the first 6 months, my mum thought I was standing guard at checkpoints in the Kharkiv region. She didn't know anything. But after my first rotation, when I came home, I had to tell my sister. And my sister told my mum. They're proud of me, but they worry a lot. They're afraid. Yes, it's terrifying. But do you understand it has to be done? Someone has to do it. Who else if not us?
The commanders of the Safari Regiment are just as committed as the soldiers. During our mission, we spoke with Sapsan, the commander of the 1st Battalion, who rose through the ranks from soldier to officer.
Яка в них тактика? Вони беруть...
Their tactic goes like this. They send in 2 soldiers, show them where to go, and then track them with a UAV. These 2 soldiers move forward, and once they're killed, and they will be killed, they've located where the fire is coming from. Then that position will be hammered with mortars and FPV drones until it's destroyed. I'd say they're using aviation very intensively at the moment, including CAB and FAB aerial bombs, as well as FPV drones. It's very widespread. In the past 2 weeks, they've been using FPV drones with fiber optic cables.
That's exactly it. The main roads in the city are webbed with fiber optic cables.
На оптоволокні.
It's terrifying. No electronic warfare system can save you from an FPV drone like that. But that's not even the most interesting thing we've seen.
I think we just...
This is how fast drone tech is developing in this because of this conflict, right? First, you see drones in an assault or in an aggressive, capable manner, right? Like dropping grenades or being used as FPVs, and then they advanced enough to make weapons that can scramble the system and make jammer packs to scramble the drones, right? And now they've advanced past that to where they just use these long ass, super tiny fishing wire fiber optic cables that give it a crystal clear picture, and you cannot hack or jam that drone. This is how fast the tech is evolving, because it's evolving out of necessity, right? Every day lives are lost because something has not been invented yet to solve this problem or answer this specific issue when it comes to drone warfare. So it's just evolving it exponentially faster than probably so many other tech fields, if you will. Also, something I want to mention, he mentioned that what the Russians are doing is they're sending in basically two guys used as cannon fodder that will be going on a suicide mission, and they send an observation drone to watch these guys, see where they get straight up murdered, and then the drone will find that firing position, the Ukrainian firing position, and then they'll pound that position with arty and mortars and FPVs and drones and shit. So that sucks for the two guys, right? I mean, Russian or not, imagine that being your mission. You just know, like, okay, I'm going to go die now. God, that would be awful. Also, what I've heard recently, actually, is that the Russians are operating... We call this conflict the conflict of small teams, right? Because anywhere from like 10 to 6-person teams seem to be more effective than larger platoon size or company size units. What we're seeing the Russians operate in are 3-man teams. 3-man teams, which is unheard of. It's extremely strange to me. So to me, that means one of a couple of different things. One, they're just really low on manpower. This is all they can use. This is all they can afford is 3-man per fire team. Two, they have somehow found some success in using these 3-person fire teams. I don't know, but it's something that is happening.
Just found the remains of the Russian aerial bombs. So it says FAB 500. I guess this carried the explosive load, and this is the module that helps the bomb to glide for such long distances, to travel such distances.
Glide bombs.
Якби я хотів би повернути
I'd like to reclaim the territory, but what's going to happen next? What's going to happen is that they will completely level the settlement with cab bombs, just like they've done in other places. They move into an empty field, plant a flag on a piece of clay where a house used to be, and say, well, we've conquered it. We understand that so far, there's nothing that can stop a cab bomb.
Хуя себе. А це він був? If you can see behind me is the residential building, a 9th floor building, and it's basically the start of the city center, and this is where the close combat happens at the moment. So it is too dangerous there and too chaotic. This is as close as we can get to that area, and we're gonna head back right now. Хотілося б сказати нашим західним партнерам.
To our Western partners who support and help us, we are deeply grateful. But you need to understand the kind of evil we're up against. It's like a tumor on this planet. We need your support because this fight is incredibly hard for us.
Бо нам дуже важко.
badass. That was United 24. Again, I'll link them in the description below. They've got a ton of really cool content. I would love to link up with those guys out here at some point. They've obviously got a lot of connects out there on the front with units that are cool with them coming out and trust the group. So if I could get an in with the United 24 guys, that'd be really cool. If anybody knows any of the guys on that with this reporting or journalist team, try to hook me up if you can. I mean, that'd be really cool. My email's in the description below. It's in the in my bio, whatever. That was badass, man. There's so much to that. I stopped multiple times in this video because there was so much to this, but it's cool to see a group of police officers turned frontline soldiers voluntarily. These guys were not mobilized by the Ukrainian armed forces. Like, they weren't pulled off the street, said, hey, here's your rifle, here's your brigade, now you're going to the front, mobilized to the front. These were cops who wanted to fight and said, yeah, sign me the fuck up, let's go. That's badass. You guys, I appreciate all the support lately. The channel's blowing up. We're getting like 100 subs every day. Extra, you know what I mean. Another 100 more subs a day. Dude, I'm a mess in this video. Fuck it, hey, blow me up in the comments. Light me up, because I'm a disaster in this video. I love you guys. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.